Remember. So I just want to take a moment and thank you all. I know it is a busy time of the year. I know it can be very stressful this time of the year. And so, when we were planning out what sessions we wanted to have, especially as we get towards the end of the semester, thought it would be really important to talk about stress management. Um, so, all of us have stresses in our lives, and all of us deal with stresses in different ways. And so today, what I want to talk a little bit about is your mental health and stress management, and we'll dive into that. So before we get started, though, can you all use the chat and give me like the top three things that are stressing you out right now? The top three. And maybe you're not stressed out. And if you're not stressed out, be like, I am awesome. I am great. Okay. I mean, you're already awesome and great, but you get what I'm saying. So give me the top three things that are stressing you out today, right now. Money, family, and the media. I feel that. Exams, work, and practicum. Transferring, upcoming finals, family, school, pending exams, taking your boards. Those are all really big things coming up. Money, school, work, and exams. Yes, yes. Work and exams. Yeah, I understand all of that. Exams, event planning, grades. Yeah, right. Grades are going to be coming in, or maybe they already have. Maybe you've been maybe you took like a 3 week or 3 week. Oh my gosh. 7 week course. I don't think you took a 3 week course. That would be amazing if you did. School and money. Yes, yes. So lots of things that are just impacting us. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you all. That are impacting us on a daily basis. And the thing is as we read these, there are definitely common threads throughout, that we can all relate or understand what someone is saying. But, our stresses are personal. Something that stresses me out might not stress out my friend next to me or my classmate next to me or my other family members, things like that. So keep those in mind as we talk through today, because realistically, what we need to remember is when we are stressed out, that is taking a huge toll on our mental health. And so, how can we do better things for ourselves in order to make sure that we're staying as healthy as we can and we're also lowering our stress management? Okay. All right. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what is stress. We're going to talk a little bit about some tools to thrive and also some tips. And we're actually going to practice a tip today. But if you've been in any of the sessions with me, you will know I love videos. I also love humor in my life. And if you all know Ellen DeGeneres, she used to have a TV show, and she talked one day about what stress is to her in a comedic way. So I wanted to start with that with you all. I'm just going to start this for a minute, but can someone tell me if you can hear it? Oh, well, it's an ad. Can you hear the ad?
As an intern at
Yes.
HH, my supervisor has been a mentor.
So what I'm going to do today, I want to start today with a breathing exercise. Everybody up for that? Everybody take a deep breath in. Big breath, good. And then breathe out through your mouth. Someone had garlic, but that's okay. Wonderful. Doesn't that feel good? Doesn't that feel good? We forget to breathe sometimes, and I think today it's very important. I want to remind everybody it's National Stress Awareness Month. In case you're not aware enough of your stress, all month long, you're supposed to take all the stress you have, your job stress, your money stress, your life stress, and then you just eat. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. You drink is what you do. I'm kidding. No. I'm kidding again. You smoke is what you do. No, no, no. You gamble is what you do. I could go on and on. No, there are better ways to deal with your stress. I've talked about them before. You can meditate, you can exercise, you can come here. I'm a delight, you know. I just read a survey that said more than half of all Americans deal with stress by shopping. How many people do that? How many people say? The survey was right. That was about half of you. And you know, I think it's a good idea because you get to wander around a big mall and you let yourself get distracted by everything that's in there. And it's a good feeling to buy new things because when you look good, you feel good. And then you walk out of the mall and you're feeling all accomplished and triumphant until you realize where you parked your car. You have no idea. Completely forgot where you parked your car, so you have to wander around until you find your car, and then you finally get your car and your kid is screaming, your feet hurt by that time, and then you finally find your car, but now you can't find your keys. So you're thinking maybe you threw them in the shopping bag. So then you bend down to dig through the shopping bag. That's when you get stabbed in your upper thigh region because your keys aren't in the shopping bag, they're in your pocket. So then you go to pick up the bag, which is now soaking wet at the bottom because you put it in a puddle. It's not even raining. You know what that is? It's soda because someone put a cup down next to your car, and when you bent down, you kicked it with your foot, and now there's soda all over. The new blouse that you just bought is in that bag, which has a stain all over it, and you want to go back and return it, but you don't have the receipt because guess where that is? You ate it. That's how hungry you were when you were shopping. To relieve your stress, you thought it was a piece of taffy that you found in your purse. You thought that would tie you over till dinner, but you're so high from all the perfume people that are spraying you as you're going through, so you just ate the receipt whole. You just swallowed it. So now you have a stomach ache, and you have a bruised thigh and a dirty shirt, and you get home, you have to make dinner because it's taco night, and ain't nobody else going to do it. So I can see why people shop to relieve stress, but if you ask me, I have a different method to deal with stress, and it is called dancing.
All right. So I love Ellen. You know, she can put some humor into some things with us. You know, of course, you know, she talks about things that are, you know, more detrimental to all of us, like you know, drinking and smoking, but you know, you can kind of see just a funny little way of dealing with stress, right? I don't know. Do any of you shop when you're stressed out? I don't know if any of you do that. Who knows, right? Oh, there's a yes. We have a yes. We have someone who likes to shop. Had to stop. Yep. Right. You always see the deals, right? All right. So what is stress? So this is according to the World Health Organization. And stress, it can, and I know you all can read this, but it's a state of worry, right? We're constantly worried about something, a mental tension that's caused by a difficult situation. So maybe, you know, it's a decision that you have to make or something. But what I think is really, really good, for all of us to realize and to remember is stress is their natural human response to something that is going on, right? And so it is natural to have stress in your life, and it's normal to have stress in your life. And everyone experiences it on a different level. However, the way we respond to stress is how we differ, right? How we deal with that. And it makes a big difference to how we are overall in our well-being. So how does stress affect us? So I want you all to use the chat, and I want you to say, you know, so you all already shared with me your top kind of 3 to 4 stressors that are going on right now. So when you think about those stressors and you are stressed, what happens to you? I use myself as an example a lot of times. And honestly, when I get stressed and I get to the point where I am so stressed out, I shut down. And I go to sleep. I take a nap. I do something like that where I don't have to think about my stressors. Oh, so it looks like insomnia. So you're not sleeping, you get restless. So how else do you all deal with your stress? What happens to you? And I'll give you, you can unmute too if that's easier for you. Or you can put it in the chat. Oh, just accept it and try to overcome it. Yes. Yes. Oh, yeah. Some people definitely can get sick, cause themselves to get sick. Absolutely. Procrastinate to avoid it, but then that causes more stress. Yes. I was, all of my friends in college called me procrastinator, Chrissy. Like that's who I am. It's what I did. And I always said I work best under pressure. But really it was just my avoidance of it because I didn't know where to start, right? So many times. Watch a funny TV series. Yes. Oh my gosh, we're going to talk more about those things, but yes. That's a coping mechanism to be able to do that. But yeah. Oh, you all are getting into coping mechanisms. Good. Okay, what we're going to get there. Yes, having animals next to you, things like that. But really, what happens to us when we're stressed out is our brain starts playing with us a little bit. It can cause really physical and mental health problems. Like you might actually just not be able to function physically, mentally. You might just be in a really bad headspace for a while, not being able to focus, some things like that. A little bit of stress is okay. It helps kind of motivate us to do things, right? Like I got to get A, B, C, and D done. Again, I talk about myself a lot, but tomorrow is my last day of work for my Thanksgiving break. And I know I have about 10 things on my to-do list that I have to get done in order to be able to go on my break and feel like I don't have to work on my break, right? Like we all set those different things up. All right. So we're talking about these feelings, and some of you have already talked about these, but there are some times where people will experience a greater effect of stress. And then sometimes it'll be small little things that maybe you don't even know that's happening, right? So panic attacks are something that happens to people when they're feeling stressed out. And if you ever have had a panic attack before, I sympathize with you. They're scary and they can really mess with you, but it also makes you take time to go, why is this happening to me, right? We had insomnia already put in our chat. Maybe just having some really bad thoughts. You could get really angry, act out in such a way. You might just be sad. Every now and then, everyone just needs a good cry, a good way of getting something out. Or you could just kind of have some decay. You might just let yourself go for a day. And so those are different feelings that come along with stress. So signs of stress. So we've already kind of talked a little bit about this, but stress is going to make it really hard for us to be able to relax. Okay. So I love that you all already started talking about some things that you do when you're stressed out. Because those are the things, and we're going to get more into that in a little bit, that are going to help be able to relax you. But if your mind is going really, really quickly because that stress is causing it to do so, it's going to be hard to find that place to be able to relax. It can bring on anxiety, irritability. We talked a lot about this already. We have difficulty concentrating. I don't know about you all, but sometimes when there's something just really prominent in my head, and I'm trying to do something else, that creeps back in on me all the time, right? Like, oh, I still have to do this. I still have to do this. Headaches, body pains, upset stomach, trouble sleeping. You might lose your appetite, or you might do the opposite. You might eat and just constantly eat and eat and eat. And while, yes, Ellen joked about alcohol, tobacco, and other substances, some people do go to that, and we don't want that to happen. And then, as we said, our stressful situations can really cause our anxiety to go up, but it can also cause depression. And so we don't want that to happen. We want to be able to figure out how can we work through these stressful moments, because it will affect our daily functioning, whether that's at your job, whether that's in your classes, whether that's home in your family life. It is going to affect you. So this is a true or false. Put your answer in the chat for me. I want to know which of the following statements is false. Is it A, deep breathing is helpful for calming the mind? B, keeping feelings to yourself is the best way to manage stress? C, playing video games for hours isn't a good strategy for relaxation? Or D, spending time outdoors can improve your mood? So what is false? A, B, C, or D? Right, so which one is not true? All right, some people are coming in. Good. I'm seeing some B's. I'm seeing all is true. B and C. Okay, B. All right, the answer is B. B, keeping feelings to yourself is the best way to manage stress. And the reason that that is false is because actually expressing your feelings allows a release to be able to get it out. Now, that doesn't mean you need to just go tell anybody what's going on and what the stresses are in your life. It could be through journaling, it could be just, speaking it out loud into existence. But keeping it inside is only going to make things worse. Why do you all think C is true? Because some of you put in there that C is false, but actually it is true. Would any of you have an idea as to why it is not good to play video games for hours for relaxation? So I'll help a little bit. Maybe this one's a little tricky, but playing video games for hours is just an avoidance, right? If you played a video game for an hour or for 30 minutes or 45 minutes, yes, that is a good way of relaxation. But if you're playing for hours upon hours, then all you're doing is avoiding the stress. Like I was saying, I tend to shut down, right? And so if I shut down and I go and take a nap for 2 hours, all I'm doing is avoiding what ultimately needs to be done. And it falls in the same category with playing video games or doing some other things like that. Yeah, unable to prioritize other things because it's true just avoidance, right? Okay. So owning your feelings is always not the most easy thing to do. And so I want you all to be able to give yourself permission to have feelings. It's okay to have feelings. Um, you don't need to ignore how you're feeling because at that time, your feelings are valid and they're who you are. Talk it out. And like I just said, like if you have someone in your life that you can go to and you can talk it out with them, prioritize that in your life. If you don't, and you maybe just need to journal it, type it out, do something like that, use whatever resource is going to be best for you to be able to get it out of your mind at that time, right? Build your emotional vocabulary. I love this fun fact. The English language has over 3,000 vocabulary words for emotions. That's pretty crazy, right? So instead of just saying sad, there are other words that you can use for sad. Instead of just saying I'm overwhelmed, there could be something else that you can say. I've talked about journaling already. And if all else fails and you are not able to do this completely on your own, it's okay to admit that and to understand that there are professionals out there that can help you, right? And I'm going to talk as we wrap up a little bit about how even some people at CCBC can help you if you just feel like you just need a little extra help. Okay. So how do you handle stress positively? And I love that some of you already put that in the chat. Let me go back to it really fast so I can make sure I read it correctly. But, you know, someone put, I watch a funny TV series, right? Take your mind off of things, laugh a little bit. I think that's great. My cat therapist, I love that. So not only are you talking to your cat and getting your emotions out, but your cat also provides a stress relief to you. There's actually a lot of studies out there about having cats or dogs in your life, and just taking time to pet them will actually bring your stress level down drastically throughout the day. But let's see what other things we can talk about. Creating healthy routines. So again, when stress is invading our lives, and we sometimes feel like we're pulled in these different directions because the stress is pulling us, having a routine is going to help us. So create the routine that's right for you. And it's okay to start small. Say, you know what? I'm going to wake up every day at this time. I'm going to get to school or work or whatever it is at this time. I'm going to have lunch at this time. Set small priorities for yourself. Because I think what happens the most of the times, and you guys can tell me if you agree or not, is when we're stressed out, we tend to not think about ourselves. We tend to think about the things that are stressing us out, right? Which could be our homework, a project that we're doing, a test that we're taking, you know, work that's piling up, something like that. And there are many times, and I'll admit it, there's many times where I'll go, oh my God, I forgot to eat today. Right. And so I'm not taking care of myself because I literally have been so consumed with my job for the day that I forgot to take care of myself. Okay. Um, so, and then add some things in there, add to your existing habits that you already do. And those are good habits, right? Like maybe it's every day you need to take a walk in the morning and take a walk in the afternoon just to get away from whatever. And I'm saying this also from my perspective, right? I'm staring at a screen most of the day. I'm checking emails, I'm doing things. Sometimes I just need to get up and walk away from that screen. And it's okay. Walk away from the textbook, walk away from studying for a little while because your mind needs a break. Okay. Make swaps for things. I also, and this is coming down, I also reward myself for things, right? If I can get this done, then I can do this. It's normally with food, I'm not going to lie, but you know, if I get this done, I'm going to go get a bowl of ice cream, or I'm going to, you know, treat myself to something that I haven't done. Um, Try to plan ahead. I know sometimes that's hard because things are out of our control, but if you can at least try to plan at least a day, 2 days, a week ahead of time, it will lower your stress as to where you are. And make time for things that you enjoy. Okay. Like TV. Maybe it is playing a video game for a short period of time. What are some other things that you all do to kind of relieve your stress? Maybe it's you go to the gym. Maybe you like to craft. Maybe I'm just making things up. Maybe you play a sport of some sort and kind. What are some other things that you all do when you're stressed? You can use the chat, you can unmute. Either way. Go around my siblings. Yeah. So surround yourself with people that make you feel good, right? Yes, I love that. Thank you. Anything else from anyone? I also personally like to sing very loudly in the car, or in my shower, wherever I am. For some reason, I sound the best in the shower, like let's just be honest, but um it's just that release, right? Just singing at the top of your lungs, just getting it out. So, you know, think about the things that make you happy, that makes you want to do something. Oh, you like to cook. Yes. Yes. Maybe it's baking something, cooking something, going for a walk or a run. Rant to your siblings about everything. Yes. Having self motivation. Yes. Yes. Good. And also remember too, when you're creating these routines and maybe you miss something one day, or maybe something just doesn't go the way that you wanted it to or expected it to, don't beat yourself up. It's okay. Um, things don't always go the way that we plan, right? And you need to be able to have some flexibility in your life when it comes to those things. Um, oh, I like to go out in the deck and just look at the trees and the plants in the garden. Yes, just take time to enjoy nature, right? I love that. When the leaves started falling in the fall is my favorite season. I just took a drive just to look at the different colors of the leaves that were changing. And it was just me in the car with music on, just looking at the leaves. Like, and I loved it. I loved every second of it. Yes. So do what makes you happy. So some of you have already kind of talked a little bit about this, but connecting with others, right? So connect with other people and places you already go to, right? So if you're feeling like you're a little stressed out and maybe other people are too, maybe there's people in your class that you're like, no, they might be as stressed out as I am about this upcoming thing. Make a connection with them, right? Use your shared experiences as topics of conversations when you're connecting with other people. Because really, when we think about our stress and we think about our mental health, a lot of times it comes into play that we're by ourselves. And you all have kind of talked about that already through your different comments that you have made. But you want to be able to connect with other people because other people do help you through when you're experiencing things. So you can share topics, give compliments to people. Please make time to be social. It's okay. Even if it's just a few minutes a day or it's an hour, or maybe you set your Saturday night aside to be social, do that. It's important. Okay. Not all connections have to be done in person. We have these amazing things in our hands called cell phones. And I know you all do it too, but it's okay to text people. It's okay to connect with people through social media in a healthy way, being able to do that. If someone asks you to go out, accept the invitation, right? Don't let the stress of what's going on stop you from doing something that you might have a great time doing. And maybe you yourself can organize some events. So connecting with others is really important for our mental health. When you also think about taking care of your mental health and maybe some of the stressors, you also need to think about maybe getting rid of what that toxicness is in your life, right? It could be people, but it could also be things that are kind of just in your own mind as you're going through things. So sometimes manipulation gets in our way. Sometimes people just make us feel bad about ourselves, or we make ourselves feel bad about ourselves because we didn't do something, or we have these expectations that we're not meeting. People can be judgmental. We can be judgmental of ourselves. Like, so this could go for both, right? Negativity. I always say, please leave the negativity at the door, right? Let's try to remain as positive as we possibly can through whatever situation we're trying to get through. Being passive aggressive too isn't a great way. Try to avoid that. Trying to avoid being self-centered. If you get angry when you're stressed out, working on figuring out how to deal with that anger and eliminating that anger from your life. And also, you want to get rid of things that are controlling, right? You don't want people in your life that are controlling, or situations that are controlling, those types of things. You need to feel in control of your own life. It's not easy to get rid of these things, but there's some things to do. So here are some tips and some things. Eating healthy foods. All right. So I know we hear this all the time and we go, yeah, we understand. But like, how many of us actually do it? How many of us are actually eating fruits and veggies and whole grains and protein every day? And I again, I talk about myself because I'm my own expert. Um, I have to really think about it to make sure that I do it. And I don't know if anyone else is in that same boat with me. Like, I really try, but some days I'm like, nope, it didn't happen today. Yeah, you try. Thank you. Yeah, I do too, right? I try to do it. Another thing with your stress is exercising. So some people, when they hear exercising, they're like, okay, look, I'm not a runner, I'm not a track star. I don't have time to find a pool. I don't have a pool membership, like I don't like to run. Um, that's not what anyone is saying. And it took me a long time to realize that just getting up and taking a walk for 10 minutes is going to truly impact your life just as much as if you run 2 miles around your neighborhood, because you're getting up and you're allowing the blood to flow through your body. You're allowing your mind to stay away from whatever was bothering you for a few minutes, because you're just going, well, where am I going right now? And how am I getting there? Right. Um, it releases tension. It's going to help your mood. It's going to help you remain healthy, which is great. And overall, it's going to decrease your stress levels. So I encourage you all to do that, even if it's, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, just go take a walk. And you never know who you're going to run into. Maybe you'll see someone and you can strike up a conversation, and that just was a great stress relief from what you were dealing with at that time. Okay. Your family went through a phase where we made salad every meal. Yep. Yep. Right. We go through phases though. That I think that's a human nature, right? We try to what is it that I'm not going to remember the statistic right off my head, but it's something along the lines like you have to do something for either like 7, 14, 30 days straight in order for it to become a habit, right? Like you have to consistently do things before it's going to become a habit for you. And that's hard because then it's like, okay, it's a habit, and then you might fall out of it again. So kudos to your family for doing that. Getting plenty of sleep. Oh my gosh. This was my biggest sacrifice all the time. I'm like, I'll sleep tomorrow. I'm just going to stay up tonight and get this done. Right. But the average adult should be getting between 7 and 9 hours of sleep every night. How many of you get between 7 and 9 hours of sleep every night? Haven't done that in years. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Lucky if I get 6. Mm-hmm. Get a good 5. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and if you don't, I'm going to challenge you, to think about how maybe you can get some more sleep. How can you make sure that you are waking up? And when you're waking up, well, number one, waking up is a good thing, but you're waking up and you're feeling rested. That's the other part too. Like you can get 5, 6 hours of sleep and maybe you do feel rested, but then how do you feel 4 hours into the day, right? How do you feel 6 hours into the day? And so the goal is that you're getting enough restful sleep that you get through the whole day feeling great. And that's why that recommended 8 hours a night is there. Micro naps. Oh, interesting. I have never heard this concept. So you just do little naps throughout the day that total 8 hours. I like the uniqueness. As long as you feel rested. Also learn to manage your time and learn to say no. This is hard. This is hard for many people, right? Managing your time is normally something that comes a little easier, especially as we have planners and we have our phones at our fingertips and we can put things on our calendars and know what to expect as we go on. But learning to say no a lot of the times really struggles, especially with people who are leaders. And it's something that you have to practice. It's something that you have to figure out how to put your own needs before others' needs. But just know it is okay to say no if you truly cannot do something. Or if it's something maybe just doesn't interest you. It's okay to say no. So give yourself grace and give yourself the ability to say no when those situations arrive. So I'm going to show you one more video, and we're almost finished right after this video, but this is actually from Johns Hopkins Hospital, I believe, medicine, and it actually talks through how to do deep breathing, and the importance of deep breathing.
The first exercise in our relaxation toolkit involves something we've all experienced at some point or have been very close to experiencing: shortness of breath during times of stress. When we're anxious or stressed, our breathing becomes very shallow. The breath we take isn't fully drawn into the lungs, and there's more contained in our chest. This brings us to our very first exercise of stress reduction: deep breathing. It's also known as abdominal breathing, belly breathing, or diaphragmatic breathing. This technique consists of breathing through the belly and not the chest in a slower and deeper fashion. There are many physical benefits to this simple technique. Deep breathing lowers your heart rate, your blood pressure, increases your energy levels, and decreases your muscle tension and pain. Not to mention the mental health benefits, including decreased anxiety and stress, as well as improved sleep and a more focused mind. Let's practice. Sit or lie down in a comfortable position. Begin by taking a deep breath in and a long, relaxing breath out. The idea here is to achieve a slow and steady breath. Go ahead and place one hand on your chest and your other on your abdomen, if this feels comfortable for you. Now try and keep your chest rather still and have your abdomen expand and contract as you deeply breathe. Some people find it helpful to count while they take their deep breaths. For example, you may count like this: in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. This counting can help you with consistency. Try to practice this regularly a few times throughout the day for a few minutes. It will relax you physically and mentally during times of stress.
So I don't know how many of you have ever tried deep breathing, but I actually do deep breathing, and I absolutely love it. There are some other things out there like guided meditation, guided imagery. There's many other things like yoga classes, can help with that, Tai Chi, some things like that. So it's just a really nice way just to take a moment, right? So I did tell you all I would share with you about the CCBC resources that are also available. So if you're not familiar, we do have student success navigators at CCBC, and they give they have available a lot of services and referrals for students. And so they can help with emergency housing. They can help with food insecurity. They work with students on SNAP benefits through our state and federal agencies. They also have resources for legal counsel, utilities, and transportation. There's also through CCBC, they have something called Together All. I did put that down at the bottom. And that is something that is free to you as a CCBC student to get counseling. And so you just go to CCBC Together All, and when you go to that area, then you will be able to sign in using your CCBC credentials, and it's a free service to you. So if ever you find that you're in need for these things, I really encourage you to use the resources here at CCBC. In addition, if you ever find that maybe you have a bigger food insecurity, the Office of Student Engagement, we also have food pantries on our campus that are open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30 with extended hours at Dundalk on Mondays, Tuesdays at Essex, and Wednesdays at Catonsville till 7. But you can come in every day and give up to 5 items. So if you're hungry, make sure you're taking care of yourself, right? Come in and see us. We also have food lockers. So if you can't make it during the day, you can sign up for a food locker and we'll be glad to get you the food that you need. If you are not taking care of yourself, your stress and your mental health are only going to become worse. And so we want to make sure that you're taking really good care of yourselves while you're here. So this is just a challenge by choice. But I would like for you to think about this for yourself, and fill in these concepts for yourself. And the first one would be, when I feel stressed, I like to take a few moments to what? And I just want you to reflect on that for a few moments. And then the second thing, when you are feeling sad or worried, it's important to talk to whom? Who is your person that you would talk to? And if you don't have a person, then what is your method for getting those feelings out? So think about that for a second. And then lastly, I want you to think about, one way to keep my mind healthy is by practicing what? And when you think about that, I want you to think about maybe something you already do that works, but maybe branch out just a bit and think about trying something new that maybe you heard today, or maybe a friend or family member does that you've always wanted to try. So that concludes our session today. And I thank you all for joining me. I'm going to stop sharing this. Yes, I can put that link in there for you in just a moment. I thank you all for joining me. I hope today that you can just take away some quick little pointers about stress management. I hope that you all find ways to take good and gentle care of yourselves, especially as we enter into the end of the semester, where we tend to be in the most stressful time possible. Take care of yourselves, and if you need help, remember that there are people here that can definitely assist. So enjoy your break. Remember, the college is closed next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So don't come to campus. And then you don't have to go to class, which is even better, right? And I just thank you all for being here.